This is the Private Officer Beat Radio with Rick McCann at the microphone. You're listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio Show, broadcasting live from the Blue Ram Media Studios. Good morning and welcome to the Private Officer Beat Radio, a production of Blue Ram Media Group, LLC, and Private Officer International, a private security and law enforcement association for more than 20 years. We're glad this morning that you're joining us. Maybe you're downloading it, streaming it, or listening live. We have people who do it. We're glad you do it. Do it always. This morning, we're out on a construction site teaching construction security and safety and broadcasting live from that construction site of a large church and also a gymnasium and several other buildings that they are constructing. And it's exciting to be part of this project because, well, I've known them for quite some time, known of them even longer, and to be out here and be able to both provide services and do the radio show is, well, it's a happy day for me. I hope that each and every one of you are having a happy day. Remember, you can always contact us at helpdesk at privateofficer.com. If you're not having a happy day, or if you are having a happy day, if you have any questions about our organization, or if you have questions or needs that maybe you can't get elsewhere and you want to ask us about what you should do about something or how you should go about something, whether you are a association member or not, that will be fine. Now, you think, well, there's really no big deal. I don't need any training to be working on a construction site. I'm just going to sit in my car and play music, read a book, and that is far from the truth. Although that could happen, and you might take a few moments to relax, there's a lot that goes on a big construction site. Maybe if you're there when the site is shut down in the overnight hours and things are cool, calm, and collective, there seems to be no issues, and you think, well, I've got it made. There's nothing going to happen here. Well, that's also not really accurate because in the many years that I've had security businesses, I can tell you that things do happen on construction sites. So we are broadcasting live from this very large construction site. From time to time, you may hear vehicle traffic, construction workers. We've got bulldozers. We've got a whole ton of dump trucks. They're moving dirt around and getting underway of this new project. So, of course, I've got 2-way radio scanners, police radios, business radio. We've got a lot going on here. So this is the real deal, broadcasting live today. And we've got a lot to talk about. Of course, we have a lot of breaking news that we're going to bring you. We're going to talk about what is coming up in your area. We've got several excellent new academies, the Force on Force Academy. We've gotten quite a bit of response from that. We also have several others. We'll talk about that again today as well. And we're offering right now for just $29 an annual subscription to our newsletters, officer down reports, statistical data, and more. Go to our website at privateofficer.org, or you can contact our help desk at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. As I was saying earlier, there's a lot more to think about on a construction site, especially a large active construction site. You might be doing traffic direction. You might be doing get called to a medical emergency, all sorts of things that we'll talk about in today's program. I want to give you a heads up as well. Recently, we have had some interest in coming out and doing a roundtable, coming out and shooting some video with your company. If you are a business owner, a security company owner, and you have a patrol division, you do some type of specialty security, we would be interested in featuring you. Contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, of course, we have a lot more to talk about and a lot more going on here. More people, more crew has come on to the job site. Lots of things happening. No, I'm not guarding it. Our company has this as one of our companies has this as a security contract. But I am out here today doing some training and also putting together a brand new training for Armor College that deals with construction site and safety. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll come right back. You're listening to the voice of the Private Officer Beat. You're listening to the voice of the protector, frontline protector, on the Private Officer Radio.
For a minute? I'm a high school math teacher, and I'm a firefighter. Man, we're going to have you out in just a minute, okay?
I'm a designer.
I'm a retired VP in business.
And I'm a student.
I'm a mother.
I'm a business analyst, and I'm a volunteer firefighter.
You thought we just fought fire?
Firefighters get trained to do so many things.
Right here. Be sharp. What we do is serious business.
3/4 of the nation's first responders are volunteers. That includes here in Connecticut. And lately, it's been harder than ever, with fewer citizens volunteering.
From teenage cadets like me,
The seasoned veterans, like me.
So what are you waiting for?
you ready to make a difference? Ready to join our team?
Your community needs you. We need you. Visit everydayheroct.org or stop by your local firehouse today and take the first step of joining your fire department.
Broadcasting live today from a very unique location, a large construction site of a church and gymnasium, outbuildings. We've got a lot of road prep. We've got buildings going up. We've got all sorts of things happening as we talk today about construction, security, and safety. And really, we don't bring that topic up very often. And probably most of you wouldn't even think of it being something that needs to have some type of training. But it does. Any type of construction site is very dangerous, not only from accidents. We've had security officers run over and so on and so forth, but we'll be talking about that in the bottom half of the program, so don't go away. Very heartbreaking news coming out of Lynchburg, Virginia. Lynchburg is a small city in the Roanoke Valley area. It is well known, I guess, because Liberty University is there. You may be familiar with Liberty University, founded by Reverend Falwell. And But this disturbing incident that occurred 4 days ago, it's hard to imagine. I preach every day about the dangers of this business. It doesn't matter if your badge says security or police. If you're in uniform, you're a threat to people. If you're trying to uphold the law and the property rules and regulations, you're a threat, and many people are non-compliant and disobedient. A 74-year-old woman, 74-year-old woman, on duty at a Waffle House in Lynchburg, Virginia, was shot in the face. 2 suspects have been arrested. 2 people are in custody, and I hope they stay in custody. Here she was, 74 years old, trying to probably supplement her Social Security, trying to make a living, trying to pay her bills. She was shot twice. Some type of confrontation occurred in the Waffle House, and she intervened. She did her job. And she's in critical condition, but her family recently reported that she's stable at this time. They also told local media that she loved being a security officer. She loved not only, securing and keeping people and property safe, but she loved interacting with the people. She loved talking to them. She loved being out. A lot of people at that age, they're homebound. They don't go very many places. They might go to church on Sunday, and they might go to the grocery store, but that's a lot of times the end-all, be-all to their life. But this lady said, no, that's not for me. And she got out there, and she got a job. I don't know who the employer was. We're checking into that right now. There's only a small amount of security companies in that area, so we should have that information shortly. But unfortunately, here the woman was doing her job when these criminals, animals, fired upon her. I don't know whether she was armed or not. We're going to try and find that out as well. But knowing the security companies in that area like I do, I would say probably not. But I'm going to be checking into that. We also had a terrible, tragic incident in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, where a security officer was stabbed to death, and his name was just released, and we'll be putting that out for you today. And also in Oklahoma City, a marijuana security officer at a marijuana facility shot and killed a person who was armed. According to law enforcement, this man came to the dispensary, the store, the business, and they told him he couldn't come in. He appeared to be maybe a street person or whatever the case was, but they escorted him out. Short time later, he returned, this time with a knife, threatening the security officer. The security officer backed away. The man was approaching him with a knife and was fatally shot and killed by the security officer. Police are investigating right now. They believe that it's a self-defense case, but they said once the investigation is complete, they will forward it to the prosecutor's office, who ultimately makes that decision. We have had a lot of these cases, a lot of use of force cases by security officers, and I do review as many as I can to see the circumstances that are known, to watch any video that might be available, and I would say about 80% of the time it looks like a good shoot to me. Unfortunately, security personnel still get prosecuted. There's that other 20% when they were not justified. that it was a bad use of force. And most of the time it's because of a lack of training. It's a lack of experience. And we recently had a 19-year-old armed security officer who was killed. I think he'd only been on the job a few days or a few weeks. And experience is the key, no matter if you're a baker, a teacher, a police officer, a security officer. Experience. The more experience that you have on the job, the better able that you're going to be able to respond to incidents that occur and understand what to do, what comes next, what is step A, step B, step 3. You know, we think, everybody that's hired, all of our security personnel can staff every location. That is not true. Many of our locations, many of our clients, we need experienced, trained, level-headed security staff. And unfortunately, we just stick people any place, and that is why so many get in trouble. Right now, I'm broadcasting live, believe it or not, from a large construction site. We'll do so the rest of today as we are writing new curriculum for a construction security and safety course, which will be available within the next few weeks. You're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector, a production of Blue Ram Media Group, LLC, and Private Officer International.
Private Officer International, the voice of the Frontline Protector. Private Officer International, you can find us at privateofficer.org and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter.
I was just going to the grocery store.
Seatbelt violators, beware.
I forgot to put it on.
If you're pulled over because you've broken the law,
oh, it's so uncomfortable.
and you are not wearing your seatbelt,
it's broken, but I'm gonna have it fixed.
no matter what your excuse is, you will get a ticket in addition to the ticket for your original violation.
Click it or ticket? That's pretty easy to remember.
Are you looking for the finest private security officer training in the Charlotte metropolitan area? Do you need PPS qualifications in armed or unarmed training? Or maybe you're over there across the line in South Carolina and you need the SLED training. Well, we've got the right training at the right time for you. Premier Training Academy, located at 5624 Executive Center Drive, Suite 142 in metropolitan Charlotte, North Carolina. Give them a call today, 704-806-4933. They also offer firearms training, personal protection, first aid and CPR, and so much more. Call John at 704-806-4933.
If you're not already receiving breaking news and our bi-weekly newsletter, Officer Down reports, and discount training news in your personal or business email, then go to our website right now at privateofficer.org. Privateofficer.org. A drop box will come down. Just fill out your info, and you'll be the first, one of the first, for sure, to know about what's happening in the security industry. You'll know when a security officer is killed. You'll also get these great discounts on training and equipment and so much more. Privateofficer.org. And if you're not already a member of the Private Officer International Association, sign up while you're there today. Become a lifetime member for just $99, and we'll also include a free Private Officer International patch and lapel pin. An incident over the weekend in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., really is becoming headlines because of what triggered a mass shooting. Now, first and foremost, let me say that we cannot blame any individual for a mass shooting other than the gunman. However, in this mass shooting in Washington, D.C., where 6 people were shot and wounded Friday night at a nightclub called Decades in a prominent area of D.C. called DuPont Circle in the northwest area, a man became angry and upset after he was asked to leave the nightclub because he had been dancing aggressively, they say, with women. I don't know what that means, but obviously it was disturbing. Security had a complaint, they witnessed it, and they went over and told the man, later identified as Renewal Mantuck of Hyattsville, Maryland, not too far away from D.C., to leave. But he didn't. He was told again to leave, and when he refused, several security officers grabbed him by the neck and began dragging him out of the nightclub. This is the news story from several news media outlets in the greater Washington, D.C., and also from the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police. Here we have security dragging a man out by his neck. The next thing that happens is that he gets very, very upset and then retaliates by grabbing a gun he evidently had with him, somehow got into the club with it, and began firing at security. Multiple people were injured. According to the latest news that we have, 5 of the victims are stable. 1 of the victims is in critical condition. Now, it just so happened that a Washington Post photographer, Javen Botsford, was inside the club at the time of this shooting. He was able to give a play-by-play of what went down. He says he saw the security guard being aggressive, getting in the face of the man who allegedly was, for, I guess, dirty dancing, up close dancing with women he didn't know. And when security told him to leave, then that's when security got very physical, when the man just ignored them. According to the photographer, the shooting occurred on the 2nd floor of the club. About 75 people were there on that particular floor. The mayor, the deputy mayor, the police chief, all of the local politicians, of course, have all come out against the club, against this security, without saying too much about the actual shooter. Now, the shooter did flee, but according to the Washington Post, the task force members, a violent crime task force member of the region, was able to locate him. The police chief has shut down the bar, the Decades Club, for 72 hours while they investigate The bar owners will also be summoned to a hearing before the liquor board, and so on and so forth. I think that we have to look at everything in its totality, and that's the kind of person I am. I want to see and hear it from all angles, but nonetheless, it seems like it might have been able to be handled in a different way. There's nothing that says that the dancer that was asked to leave first assaulted security, but like I always say, I wasn't there, I didn't see it, I didn't hear it, I didn't feel it. I don't know the actual facts of the incident. But this really continues to shine a negative light on private security, because rather than trying to de-escalate, communicate, they, once the man kind of shrugged them off, that was it. The fight was on. And it was an aggressive, around the neck, drag out type fight. Here's the other problem. How in the world did the suspect get a gun into the nightclub? I don't know of very many nightclubs these days, even those little honky-tonks in the woods, in the back country, who don't pat down their patrons, don't use a metal detector or a metal wand or some type of detection device. Everywhere that I go, I hear of upgrades in local ordinances that are being strictly enforced, that security must be trained and licensed and go through all of this use of wanding and searching and pat-downs, etc. I know that in Washington, D.C., you do need to be licensed, so hopefully those security officers were licensed and had some type of training. But again, it's just one of those continual news headlines where we see security using force or somebody using force against security, and then we read into it and we start tearing the onion apart, the layers of the onion, as they say, and we find, it kind of comes down to a lack of training again. I am continuously trying to work with state regulatory agencies and local government. Not that training is the end-all, be-all, but definitely it is one of those areas that is extremely important, not only so that this type of thing doesn't happen, but also for the safety of the security officer. I'm not putting the finger or the blame on anyone at this time. I'm just telling you this is an incident that highlights the need for additional training. And, these days there's a lot of mental health crisis out there. I was just talking about that in another training recently. There's a lot of aggressive people out there. People are anti-police, anti-security, and we really need to have all of our ducks in a row when it comes to training, and that includes de-escalation training. We will let you know as we continue to monitor this incident and others what the outcome is, and we'll keep you informed. If you know of situations like this, contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com, or if you know of any news or other things happening in your neighborhood that we should know about. I do want to remind you that you only have a couple of days left to nominate one of your coworkers, one of your employees, even nominate your boss. Someone in the last few days nominated a teacher, an instructor, because he did a great job at a class. You can even nominate yourself. Go to privateofficer.org/awards. At the bottom of the page, there'll be a link to fill out a nomination form. Today we're talking about construction safety and security, the importance of
being alert, being aware, and knowing the dangers on those properties, much more than you might think. In fact, I have a sad story about this very subject that I'll be telling you about right after we talk about all of the breaking news. You're listening to the Frontline Protector, the voice of the Frontline Protector, here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
There was the explosion, and I remember just opening my eyes, and it got both of my legs. I had surgery after surgery, and what's going to happen next? The Wounded Warrior Project said, look, brother, everything's going to be okay. 3 months from now, 4 months from now, a year from now, you'll be fine. I don't know if I would be as well adjusted as I am now if it wasn't for them.
To learn more, call 1-877-832-6997 or visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
I often tell you about how frustrated that I am on a regular basis because of the lack of participation by private security, by security company owners. Training continues to be an issue, but also we have, here at Private Officer International, we have a lot of benefits that we offer to our members, and that includes our corporate members. And we also have a lot of services that you cannot get elsewhere. We have access to legal services for you. We can look at situations and give you advice. We have free officer down life insurance for those who are killed in the line of duty. Who else does that? We have a lot of free training, as we're giving you today, talking about construction safety and security. We have radio shows, we have news magazines, we have breaking alerts, breaking news alerts, we have newsletters. We have so many resources, but few take advantage. When is the last time that you told a coworker about Private Officer International? When is the last time that you took an online or in-person training? When is the last time you got involved in any of our offerings? Some of you, probably never. Some of you, it's been a long, long time. Remember, Armour College, ARMOUR college.org, has some really great online training. We have certifications. We have a lot to offer at privateofficer.org as well. And if you're a member, you should be taking advantage of some of these benefits that are part of your membership, lifetime membership, especially if you're a lifetime member, then this is forever. You can take advantage of it as often as you want. One of the other things that we offer frequently is we have a number of businesses that, very successful businesses, that we have turned into franchises. And people sometimes are scared of franchises. They don't understand them. They're not sure if it's, legit or it's not for them because they don't understand. If you are an instructor or you would like to own your own school, then I encourage you to go to Armour College, and at the bottom of the front page, fill out that franchise application and learn more about the school, about the franchise. We have reduced substantially the startup cost. You don't need a whole lot of anything to get started. At the school, we have outbound instructors who do not have a physical school, but they go and train at customers' locations. We certify you as instructors. We give you numerous instructor courses, and we help you to progressively grow your own business as part of Armour College and Armour Institute. We also have several security businesses. If you want to open your own patrol, security patrol service, alarm response service, we can help you, and we can also franchise that to you, which means that we set up that whole system. It's a turnkey system. It's a very low cost, and we help you to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And there are other businesses. We've been talking lately about the technology advancements, the technology being used by law enforcement and private security, and how we are packaging that up so that physical and electronic security can work as one. And we can teach you how to open a surveillance center as part of the real-time crime center that we have put together. We can help you to start almost any type of business, public safety or security related, either through a franchise system that we have, or we can also possibly invest. We have an investment group that invests in companies, although we do like to invest in companies that have been open at least 2 years and are profitable. We have looked at startups and assisted with those, and we'll be more than willing to talk with you. Contact helpdesk at privateofficer.com. We have so many different resources, so many different help, trainings, advice, services, companies. Did I already say companies? We have so many different opportunities for people, and we just want you to take advantage of those. Contact helpdesk at privateofficer.com. We will take another quick break. When I come back, I've got a lot of news, and then we're going to talk about construction site safety and security. Across America and here along the Gulf Coast in Baldwin and Mobile counties, more than 75% of all firefighters are volunteers. They spend their time helping others. Around the clock, many of our volunteers respond from home, from work, and from the fire station. But just like businesses all around the country, it's becoming more and more difficult to recruit firefighters. If you want to truly help your community and make a difference, I encourage you to reach out to your local volunteer fire department here along the Gulf Coast or anywhere in the country and volunteer your time today. Unlike 20 or 30 years ago, volunteer firefighters are professional firefighters, professionally trained firefighters, and many times EMTs and paramedics. Please help your community, donate some of your time, and you'll not only make a difference, but you'll feel good about it. I know. I've been a volunteer firefighter, EMT paramedic, and law enforcement most of my life. Please reach out today, and thank you. Are you looking for the finest private security officer training in the Charlotte metropolitan area? Do you need PPS qualifications in armed or unarmed training? Or maybe you're over there across the line in South Carolina and you need the SLED training. Well, we've got the right training at the right time for you. Premier Training Academy, located at 5624 Executive Center Drive, Suite 142 in metropolitan Charlotte, North Carolina. Give them a call today, 704-806-4933. They also offer firearms training, personal protection, first aid and CPR, and so much more. Call John at 704-806-4933.
From our news desk today, a lot of breaking news as always. Coming out of Denver, Colorado, a security officer shot and wounded a man during a confrontation at an apartment complex. Police were called to the 400 block of South Cherokee Street in Denver about 2 a.m. Saturday morning. They say a man got into a confrontation with an apartment security officer and was managed to disarm him of his taser and tried to use it on the security officer. 34-year-old Yusuf Abram has been charged with second-degree assault and could face other charges. The security officer at this time has not been arrested and was not seriously injured. A Florida man was arrested at a Pennsylvania casino after security spotted him acting very suspicious. They called the Pennsylvania State Troopers to the Parks Casino, that's in Shippensburg. Police said he was going from person to person, and it looked like he was selling drugs to some of them. State troopers arrived and investigated, and sure enough, he had ecstasy and other drugs on him. He was taken into custody and booked into the jail. 2 security officers were assaulted and injured at a Rhode Island hospital last week. This happened in Providence. Police arrested Manuel Govera, 39, with felony assault on those security officers. The security officers were treated. They said that both had been stabbed with a straight-edge razor blade, but they're going to be fine. This particular hospital has had several incidents of assaults on security. Allied Universal is the contract security company handling that. In Orangeburg, South Carolina, the South Carolina State University recently added a canine to their team. The gun and drug sniffing dog is now on duty. According to a spokesperson, crime is not increasing, but there are some situations where a dog is very useful. A student 18 has been killed. School security in Arlington, Texas responded to the shooting at Bowie High School. This happened in Arlington. School security and SRO responded. The school was placed on lockdown. They found an 18-year-old shot multiple times. A 17-year-old suspect who did try to flee was apprehended by SROs and police. He's charged with murder and held on no bond in the Arlington City Jail. In Washington County, Georgia, a Georgia State Prison guard, a private guard, shot and killed a prisoner. This occurred at a hospital. He was being treated there. He grabbed the pepper spray from the security person, and that's when he was shot and killed, according to the news release. A former special police officer has received a prison sentence for shooting a woman during a confrontation. The former special police officer was given a 3-year sentence for aggravated assault. The incident unfolded January 18th this year at a 7-Eleven. They were engaged in a heated argument when the security officer, Chanel Clinton, 27, pulled her firearm and began shooting at the person. Police say that they are still investigating the cause, the reason why 2 people shot a 74-year-old security officer at a Waffle House in Lynchburg, Virginia. There had been a confrontation. Police have identified
and arrested the suspects, but they've also reviewed some video and they have talked to several witnesses. Police said that since 2021, they've been dispatched to that same Waffle House 75 times. A security guard in Las Vegas has been arrested for impersonating a police officer and threats. The security guard identified himself as a police officer to his neighbors. After a confrontation, the armed security officer had been taking his dog for a walk after arriving back home from work. The neighbors didn't like the fact that he was allowing his dog to do their business on the city street. During a confrontation, police said that the security guard, who has been identified as Artemio Figueroa, then pulled his gun and threatened the woman that he would arrest her. He's been charged with impersonating law enforcement and 2 counts of felony assault with a deadly weapon. An Oklahoma City security officer fatally shot a man after he made entry into the cannabis store with a knife. We told you about this a little earlier. 2 men have been accused in Rochester, New York for aggravated assault against a security officer at a park. The security officer approached the 2 men and told them that the park was closed. This happened at about 8:30 p.m. After the 2 refused to leave, the security officer said that he was going to ticket them for trespassing. The men got a baseball bat from their vehicle and assaulted the security officer. The 2 men have been charged with aggravated assault. Amaya Holzer and Patricio Sirica, both charged with aggravated assault. A delivery dispute turned violent after a woman assaulted a security officer. This happened in Parkland, Florida last week. According to law enforcement, the woman, who was denied entry to an upscale Mar-a-Lago community, got upset with the security officer and began punching the security officer. Broward County Sheriff's Office responded. This happened last week, midweek, in the evening. Deputies said that they were able to quickly identify the suspect. It is a felony in Florida to assault any security officer. The person has been arrested but not identified. This is the same complex where in 2021 a homeowner assaulted a security officer, forced his way into the guard shack. He was charged with burglary and battery. In that case, we reported that as well. At a private prison in Holdenville, Oklahoma last week, a private correctional officer was murdered. He was attacked from behind. Alan Hirschberger, a Missouri native, was attacked at the Davis Correctional Facility. They say that he was a kind soul. Police say that the suspect has been arrested, but he's already serving time for murder. He killed the private correction officer with a homemade weapon, police say. This private correction officer is the second private correction officer killed in recent years. A nightclub security officer is being hailed as a hero. Witnesses call the Scottsdale bouncer a hero because he saw an accident involving a bike. This was one of those party bikes. He immediately saw that one of the people, their foot had been caught in the well of the party bike and almost torn off. Sumo Ramirez was working at Goodwood Tavern when he heard the commotion. He and his partner ran to the scene of the accident and saw the foot dangling. He immediately took his belt off and used it for a tourniquet. He was a former firefighter and had been in the military. He said his training kicked in and he began life-saving interventions. Both local firefighters, customers of the tavern, and people that were on scene all say that he is a hero. And we're going to try to make contact with him. In Petaluma, California, 5 bar security officers have been arrested after seriously beating a patron. This happened at Jameson's Roaring Donkey Bar on Kentucky Street. The 38-year-old man was asked to leave. When he didn't do so, they attacked him, according to the police report. The man questioned the security staff's assessment of a previous incident that had occurred, and that's what kicked it all off. Police say the 5 have been charged with assault and various other crimes. In Greensboro, North Carolina, that's up near Raleigh, North Carolina, the capital of the state, just last week they initiated a civilian traffic investigation unit. There are a number of police agencies who have been doing this for the past 5 years. In fact, Public Safety Services, Unified Public Safety Services, one of my companies, has this same category that we offer, the contract with local communities, and we are franchising this. If you'd like to know more information, contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. But the new traffic investigators wear a different color uniform and they drive a marked vehicle saying civilian traffic and safety. Civilian investigators do not have law enforcement authority. They investigate non-injury accidents, assist with setting up traffic cones, and assist motorists who are broken down. The city of Greensboro expects that this is going to work well. Fort Worth, Texas.
From coast to coast, cops are cracking down on seatbelt violations. Buckle up day and night or expect a ticket. It doesn't matter who you are or where you live, they'll be on the lookout. Cops write tickets to save lives. Click it for ticket.
Today we are talking about construction site safety and security, working on